Hello, party people. The cover image here alone, let alone the thumbnail for the stream, should tell you what the, for lack of a better term, meat and potatoes of this stream is going to be. I won't be doing any gaming after this stream, and it may be shorter than usual. I just don't think today is an appropriate day to be doing any streaming. I do want to start off, as usual, with the e-begging. If you would like to support what I do, if you see any value in what I do, I would deeply appreciate it if you head over to the Ko-Fi and fling me a few bucks. If you choose to do so on a monthly basis, I'll put your name in the ticker alongside Zenrab7 and Simon JJ. Let's see, what else? If you want to support me but you don't have the money to do it, and I understand completely, I am in fact the poor. Not in much of a mood for mirth today, I'm afraid. But if you would like to support me without spending any money, either for whatever reason that you're unable to or unwilling to, and I completely understand that too, I'm just here for your edification and hopefully amusement on occasion. If you would like to support me without spending any money, you can chat, share, comment, like, follow, or subscribe, depending on the platform. If you follow on Rumble, it's the same as subscribing on YouTube. It costs you nothing. If you choose to subscribe to me on Rumble, it will cost you every month, and I would prefer that you put that money into the Ko-Fi instead. That said, it's your money. I can't tell you what to do with it. If you choose to send me a Rumble rant during the show, I can't tell you not to. I hope I have Ko-Fi properly set up to give me desktop notifications, so that if you send me a Ko-Fi during the show, I will be able to read it. Be sure that if you want me to use a different name, if you want me to address you by a different way than what appears on Ko-Fi, that you let me know ahead of time. Other than that, I have a thank you to issue to 77 brave souls who are following me. Thank you very much. That's just on this channel. I do have another channel that is dedicated to next to nothing, really. This channel has become my channel. With the current issues I'm having on YouTube, where I'm being, for the second time, wrongly guidelines warned, and had the 20 seconds video removed. Wrongly, completely wrongly. They claimed that I was encouraging dangerous behavior, when in fact the exact opposite was happening. It's clear that it was an AI review and an AI response to the appeal. So it is what it is. YouTube is essentially attempting, or appears, I should say, to essentially be attempting to drive smaller creators off so that they can then become the new TV. They want to be the new service that all the news stations are using, that all the big corporations use. The problem with that is the moment that happens, YouTube will experience the exact same decline, decay, and degeneration that traditional TV has experienced. People just aren't watching it anymore. Very few people are watching it. When the boomer die-off happens, YouTube will go with it if they manage to accomplish that particular goal. Okay, so, as always, we start where we always start, with thus always to dickheads. Yes, I'm not in much of a mood for mirth, but a dickhead is a dickhead and always deserves to be called out. I will warn you, the comments section is going to be the difficult part today. Okay, moving over to... Oops, there we are. Canadian police admit they've been totally unable to crack Apple's iMessage and other encryption since 1996, so for 30 years. So they needed legislative backdoors, which don't exist. We've come close multiple times. I doubt it. In cracking encryption, you either do or you don't. There is no try. They got wrecked by Apple. This is from Table Salt, by the way. Great job. Best ad campaign you can buy. Yeah, this is a great ad for Apple products, but yeah. So we'll play this video really quick.
Deal with encryption, but the reality is that technology is changing at a greater rate than we can keep up with legislative reform. And you've likely heard from some of my colleagues in policing, including Commissioner Karik, police leaders.
So I'm just going to pause that there and cover what he just said. Technology changes at a rate greater than they can keep up with. So they wanted a legislated backdoor engineered. In other words, they told Apple, hey, we can't crack your encryption and spy on people whenever we feel like it, so we're going to force you to help us. To which Apple went, and multiple other corporations did as well. And yeah, they all said collectively, listen for the click. And the click happened. Yeah. It looks that this bill is going to die on the vine. It doesn't look like it's going to get anywhere.
And police union executives have been trying to advance a lawful access framework since around 1996. And we've come close multiple...
So for 30 years, which is Carney, Trudeau, Harper... was O'Toole? O'Toole was never Prime Minister. Harper, Martin... Chrétien, possibly even Kim Campbell and Mulrooney. They've been... Sorry, I have a bit of dry skin on the back of my ear and it's itching like mad. I do apologize. But since 1996, so over at least half a dozen governments, prime ministers, the RCMP has been trying to accomplish this. Why does the RCMP have so much influence on our political figures, when it should be the other way around? The secret police are not supposed to be running the country.
Times we believe that the current climate, the geopolitical climate, is a tool that we need.
You misspoke, but it's something in the nature of a Freudian slip to say that the climate, the geopolitical climate, the world being more dangerous and divided than ever, is a tool that you need. Thanks for the heads up. You're propagandizing the shit out of us so that we'll let you spy on us. No. Fuck off. Okay, let's see some of the responses. Yeah, shutting them out completely. iOS 26.5 will add end-to-end encryption for RCS messages between Apple and Android. Solid. I did say, yeah, if only Apple didn't use slave and child labor to produce their fucking products and engineer them to have planned obsolescence. Yeah, I would actually buy Apple products if they were, you know, slightly more ethically produced and weren't engineered to, you know, stop working when it was time that they decided you needed a new one. He is definitely public enemy number one. Gravy Train says, I don't believe this for a second. They for sure have access to all your devices. Maybe. Perhaps, but maintaining deniability means they can't use it in court, so effectively they don't. This is also true, yeah. Yeah, Zimu U says, Zimu U, no, Zimu U, Zumu Urdak. They always say it's about your safety right before they arrest you for that Facebook post. Yeah. Countries with the most arrests for online comments. The UK is almost twice as bad as Belarus. Where's Russia? Russia has about 400 arrests for online comments. Now, that may be a case of the government has made it very clear that if you say the wrong thing online, they will arrest you. Or it may simply be the fact that they don't care as much. For example, in Russia, I would suspect if you criticize the government, you may get a talking to. You may get arrested, or you may simply have someone show up at your door and say, stop talking about the government. It's surprising that it's in the U.S. The U.S., though, this is probably the cases of harassment and, direct threats. Yeah. Okay. Moving to the next story. Sorry. From Francesco, SAP011. After being robbed at knife point by Algerian immigrant Saeed Malkoun, this Italian woman, Cinzia, I do apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Cinzia Del Pino, or Pino, got in her car, ran him over multiple times, killed him, grabbed her bag back, and drove away. Italian prosecutors are now demanding life imprisonment, claiming she was fully in control of her actions despite having just been mugged. So why is it that whenever Muslims run over innocent civilians, the immediate explanation is always mentally ill? I'm sorry, this is a case of, you could call it vigilante justice, or you could qualify it as self-defense and saving the police the trouble. I think, if anything, she certainly doesn't deserve to be jailed for life, especially not for reclaiming her property and ending a threat to her community. I don't know if she necessarily deserves a medal either, but I think she should be sentenced at worst to community service, and that sentence then commuted to time served. She should be given a medal, says Mr. Reagan. I can't agree with you. She did the right thing, says Gun Gnome. That I do agree with. Islam has a problem. We're not worrying about that. The entire system has been carefully designed against white Europeans. It's going to be a theme today. This is a fictional story, dude. Yeah, I do like the Hospitallers and the Templars, but yeah, that's a bit of a fictionalized story, if I recall correctly. Okay, from Italy we come to Canada. The Buck You Will says, fuck these Sikhs. You signed a contract. The contract is over. No extensions. Go home. It's that simple. And we're seeing Sikhs here. We'll pause this here. You'll see that they're protesting for work permit extension. What that means is these people were brought in under the Temporary Foreign Workers Program with a set amount of time that they were permitted to be working in the country, which gives them the ability to either A, save their money in a Canadian bank, or send it back home to their families, which is ideally the reason they came here, was to enrich their families at home. The problem is that the Indian culture is pro-scammer, in that they don't have the same honor codes that we do as white Europeans. Their attitude is, if you can scam someone, good for you. Not just, okay, fine, you get by. No, you will actually be praised for it. That is so foreign to the European mindset, a lot of us can't even conceive of it. And yet, this is the situation we find ourselves in. We come with dreams, not deadlines. No, son, you came on a contract. The contract has a deadline built in. Fuck off home. Let us build the future we studied for. Are you, by chance, from Kerala, where over 100,000 fake certifications were discovered? I'm not buying it. You did. You may have paid for the fake certification, but no. Get bent. Qualified and ready. And yet you're not. A lot of times you are actually trained by the people you replace. Isn't that interesting? Never selected. No. We studied, we worked, give us a fair path. No, see, here's the thing about fair play. When we hand you a contract and you say, I agree to this, then fair play means once your contract expires, you leave. That's how fairness works. You're not asking for fairness, you're asking for extra privileges over and beyond what the native-born get. And you're already getting them anyway, because some of you come here on a work permit or a student visa, turn into drug dealers and terrorism supporters, and not only do you not fuck off back home when your time expires, you actually predate on the native-born population. So no, fuck you. Yeah, it may not be all of you, but it's enough that it's a problem. Qualified and ready, but never selected. You were selected when someone decided to hire you and give you a contract. The fact that you don't want to honor the terms of that contract is not our problem. We built our lives here, don't cut us off. You shouldn't have come here on a temporary basis and built a life. You should have known damn well your time was limited. That's not our problem. We chose Manitoba, now let Manitoba choose us. I'm relatively sure Manitoba doesn't want you either. And you didn't choose Manitoba, you chose Canada. You didn't care where in Canada you went, because you wanted the money. Now you've got the money, and yet the terms under which you acquired that money, you no longer agree with. Too bad. I also wonder how many of these people are actually expired and should not be here anymore. Also, I think I recognize this guy. He looks very familiar. I'm not 100% sure about that, though. Hear us, see us, extend us. How about shut the fuck up, go the fuck home. Do what you agreed to. Yes, you people are clearly very intent on getting what you want. Support work permit extension. Thank you, 2026. No. Also, if you're going to wear work boots, lace them up fucking properly. Province support us. New federal action needed. Hashtag no more ignoring. Yeah, right. I'm going to guess this says something along the lines of won't give up, do it right, and now, or something. We stand for fairness, not against the province. No, you do stand against the province, because the province, years of contributing deserves opportunity. You weren't contributing. You were paid. It's not a... You weren't volunteering anything. You made a transaction. Now you dislike the terms of the transaction as if you are a college girl who went out, got laid, and then woke up the next morning and regretted it, so you called rape. It doesn't work that way. You do not get a pass. Fuck off home. We are done with you. It's harsh, especially to term it that way, and I don't disagree. It is absolutely harsh. But it's a harsh reality that you agreed to the terms of a contract, and we are going to force you to honor that contract. Excuse me. And then we will probably stop offering contracts like that to other people because of the way you have behaved. Building Manitoba together? No, I don't buy that. I also wonder how many of these people are service workers in that they work in temporary industries like agricultural harvesting, or service industries like low-level retail like Tim Hortons, etc. Those industries, yeah, the agricultural harvesting thing, sure, that's a time crunch, and you can absolutely justify bringing in foreign workers if you can't find enough local, assuming you've even properly looked for local. But if you can't find enough local workers, then yes, I don't have an issue with bringing in temporary foreign labor, under the understanding that you are in the country temporarily. If you want to apply for citizenship when you get here, go for it, by all means. Good luck with that. We won't give up. Make it right. Extend now. So, because we're forcing you to honor the terms of the contract that we both signed, and we, in my case, being the Canadian government or the Manitoba government, or the corporation, because we have a contract between us and you don't like the terms, somehow we've done something wrong. Did you hear the click? Because there was a click. Align with province, extend permits. Okay, so if the province of Manitoba, is requesting an extension of these work permits, Manitoba should be fined. I despise the federal government in Canada, and I'm encouraging them to fine Manitoba for this behavior, if this is in fact what happened. Show us the red sign. I want to see that long red one. No, of course not. Okay, let's have a wing through the comments here. They all must go, says the Buck You Will. Agreed. My parents in their 30s. This would make a lovely second home for our family during the summer. Hopefully the garage can fit both our cars, dirt bikes, and boat. And they paid about $50,000. Me in my 30s. $1 million, and you had to live amongst that. Yeah. Why move to Canada to recreate what you had where you are from? Oh, yes, right. No government handouts. Yeah. Oh. These Mutterforker have stink up this country long enough. It's time for you to go the fuck home. Stop shitting on our streetcars, subways, and bus, you dirty, filthy pig. Willie, where are you fucking from? Willie Chung 13 doesn't have a lot of followers. Let's have a look. Where are you from, Willie? Oh, it doesn't say. Does it happen to say here? It says you're from Canada. Okay. It claims you're from Canada. Go home, you freeloading, benefit-grabbing, resource-sucking, baby-making, non-English-speaking jackasses. And take those other hairy-faced, sandal-wearing, bomb-making, camel-riding, goat-loving, raggedy-ass bastards with you. I do miss Statler and Waldorf. Let's see. We came here with dreams. Don't care. Let us build the future. Build it in fucking India. We studied. No, you got a fake degree. Yeah. We built our lives here. You weren't supposed to. Manitoba chose us. Tim Hortons chose you over Canadians. They're going to pay for that, too. They already are. Do you have any idea how many people in Canada are actually not shopping at Tim Hortons anymore? And it isn't just because it's an American brand now. It's because they are a treacherous brand, operating in Canada and ignoring Canadian workers. Speaking of people, it's also dangerous to ignore. This one's a bit funnier. This fella's not pleased about something. And I'll pause this here. Let's see. Todney Roxito says, I'm turning out the lights. Good night to everyone that is white. So this fella is pissed off about something and points out that he's an electrician. It's a little hard to hear it when he says it the first time, so I'll just give you the heads up on that. And, well...
Meth head. Nigga, I'm a fucking electrician.
Oh, he dropped the N-bomb.
I'll go out there and shut this whole motherfucker down. Do it
right now.
I bet you won't, sweetheart.
They trying. Get out.
Never fuck with a man in a kilt. That was a bit much, but this part is fucking hilarious. Y'all are shut the fuck up now, ain't you? Yeah. I'll throw him a follow for that. That's good content. Don't talk shit. You may not like where you get hit. Yeah. I'd roll in that place like empty your pockets. Shut that shit down. No exceptions. What the f... Abe, if you're watching, this one's for you. The electrician's crown? Oh, because it's got lightning bolts. Makes sense. I have found that over 50 plus Hispanic men in my county in North Carolina. Yeah, that happens. I don't want to be your buddy, Rick. I just want a little breakfast. What is this? Let's see. What's this one?
Men are afraid of their own power. When black people chimp out, it looks like nihilistic gang violence and drive-by shootings. When brown people chimp out, it looks like Allah Akbar and it looks like cartels. When white people chimp out, it looks like ubiquitous domination. A level of conquest that other people could never fucking conceive of.
Based. I'm also reminded of the laser-eyed shield maiden video that I've shown a few times, wherein this lady in Britain points out that we're white people. We don't fight in the streets. We start world wars and, devastate continents. Yeah. Remember, July is White History Month. Let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, yeah, it turns out our wonderful economist in charge is not so wonderful. From Wealth Moose, Canada is in recession. No, we've been in recession for a while. The Liberal government has only just finally fucking admitted it. Here's what Liberals have spent your money on. Ukraine, $25.5 billion. CBC gets $1.4 billion a year. The FIFA World Cup was $1.066 billion, $82 million per game. Whale protection, $258 million. Northvolt, $7 billion, and bankrupt. Spaceport, excuse me, $50,000 a day for a concrete slab. That's better. Hex is in, says, good morning. Hello, Hex. How you doing? I did see that you reposted one of my videos or one of my streams. Deeply appreciated. Let's see. Volkswagen subsidy, $13 billion. Speaking of car companies, Stellantis, $500 million, and then they left anyway. Yeah, I have to turn my light down a little bit. I do apologize. But I don't get these sparkling eyes just because there's there's a happy soul in here. Carbon capture, $30 billion. Nobody else is using this shit. Creative exports, $95 million for storytellers, including, I believe, a LGBTQ plus opera in, I want to say Uganda, but I don't think that's right. I think it was somewhere in South America. Excuse me. The Latvian military. What the fuck did we send 64 million euro to the Latvian military for? The deficit doubled under Carney. Canada's now in recession. No, Canada's been in recession for a while, like I said. Is it a coincidence? Absolutely friggin' not. Oh no, this must be untrue and misinformation. Don't you know we have an economist for a prime minister? I couldn't even keep a straight face when I was typing it. The Canadian government rates near the top for their ability to spend. However, their business sense is horrendous, as none have ever run so much as a popsicle stand. Yeah, if your kids want to run a lemonade stand when they're young, by all means, let them. Teach them how to budget first, though, so that they understand expenditure versus revenue. Celebrate the failure. The Liberal Party is a joke. Their supporters know their role. Yeah. What's this? Hamas terrorism, about $2 billion, untold further to other terrorism globally. Let's not forget that we are technically funding Khalistani terrorists simply by letting them live in our country. Yeah. Isn't it wonderful? Drop a thumbs up if you don't care about woke snowflakes. I love this. Generation Z supposedly wants people to stop using the thumbs up emoji because it's rude. Good to the last drop. No, YouTube, I don't have any sponsorship. I'd like one. But I drink no-name instant coffee, not Maxwell House. Because I'm a fucking coffee snob and I'm poor. But this is just, I am flabbergasted. This is not the first time I've heard this. The idea that this is somehow rude? Okay. The Brits will get it. Yeah, I did post just the GIF because I always found this to be one of the funniest GIFs ever. I've got one for them, says Sergeant Hulka. Yeah, Black Lives Matter. Another image for Gen Z. Yeah. There exists a more appropriate single finger extended emoji to respond to the soft children with. Yes, or as I like to refer to it, listen for the click. Yeah. Oh. That one's Bulgarian? I think it's some form of European. The whole, yeah, I can't do that. Also, sorry, burned myself last night, frigging around in the shed. Let's see. I would appreciate if folks wouldn't try to control everyone and everything to death. Well, it is what it is. Thumbs up, baby. Okay, let's move to California and talk about one of the things that has made me smile so much in the last little while. This from Bering. Hi, Bering. Hope you're doing well. Say hi to Tits for me. Hassan Piker says, America deserved 9/11, says Hezbollah are totally rad, tells people to kill a sitting senator. Why won't the UK let me in? I wonder. Now, I'm going to try to spare you as much of this as possible. The moment he gets to the point, I will stop this video, because I don't want to listen to this commie gobbledygook any more than you do.
Dear Hassan Dawan Piker, your UK ETA has been cancelled. This means you cannot travel to the UK without a visa. This is because your presence in the UK is not considered to be conducive to the public good. You cannot appeal this decision. Apply for a visa. If you still want to travel to the UK, you need to apply for a visa so we can consider your circumstances in more detail. Having your ETA canceled does not mean you will be refused a visa. I genuinely, listen, I'm going to say something. This is a warning. I hope you guys understand. The Western world and liberal democracy is a sham.
People like you are a significant contributing factor to the degeneracy of liberal democracies. Fuck you, Hassan. Your communist bullshit never works, cannot work, has been tried multiple times, and don't give me this bullshit, oh, real communism never been tried. Fuck off. It's been tried over and over and over again. It's a failing philosophy because Karl Marx didn't understand people. Karl Marx was mad at his daddy.
And all of the supposed things that they claim to care about, they do not actually care about. We are moving into...
You mean kind of like you, champagne fuckball? You know? Oh, I love my dog. Zap. Yeah, free Kaya, motherfucker. I care about poor people. I'm a communist, so I care about everybody. Makes Cuban children dance for cookies. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Well, that's enough from him anyway. What did I say? Yeah, I said sic semper mentalis. Thus always to dickheads. Yeah. All these fake patriots. Seems fair after his viewers mass reported my Reddit account, says Tubby, for clarifying that detention centers have no correlation to concentration camps. Yeah. Hex, I agree. Liberal democracies are a scam because they allow socialism. Yeah, and the only way socialism and communism by extension can exist is through government control. Fascism. It's not horseshoe theory, it's simple fact. In order to have a socialist society where some people are supported by the tax of others, you have no other option than to use government force to accomplish that. Makes it fascism. These are not difficult I'm not a fucking genius. These are not difficult concepts to grasp. But for some reason, you know, maybe the indoctrination in schools, people just aren't getting them. And parent your kids. For the love of fuck. If you have children, explain to them why communism is a bad idea. You don't need to be angry about it, but you need to be clear. Thorough. Okay, let's see what Electropig said. Speaking of which, I thought I was following Electropig. 'Tis such a quandary, a befuddlement, perplexity at its very apex. However shall we determine the cons? Dear God, that is... I hope that's AI. Or from somewhere in the 20s. Because if that's not a genuine circus freak or AI... Oof. Yeah. He's psychotic. No, he's not psychotic. Let's see. Job 121 says, I think the UK was just surprised that a fighting-age Middle Eastern man, Schrodinger's Turk, asked permission to come in. They didn't know how to react. That's a fair point. If he had just gotten on a plane and fucked off over there, they probably would have given him fucking benefits. Oh, fuck, I hate my people sometimes. Peter Wimmer, free speech, love it or hate it, but you had to live with the outcome. Britain doesn't have free speech. If it did, it would let him in so he could talk however much he wanted to. Yeah. That said, I hope Canada follows suit. Speaking of things that I hope other people follow... No, I'm going to retract that, actually. I don't actually want violence in the street, so... Yeah. That said, from Alexandra Denman... Sorry. The other wound on my hand is itching now. There we go. The new Irish Republican Army has announced they'll be targeting immigrants that hurt or rape women and children. Gee, who could have seen this coming? Looks like the Irish have had enough. Who would have ever thought we would have to protect ourselves in this way? Governments have truly turned against the people not only in Ireland but across to the US and the whole Europe. Thoughts? Well, my first thought is, where are you from that your English is that bad? You're a member of Restore Britain. Admin to the Restore Britain community group. Oh. Okay. Excuse me. Please work on your English. And I'm a fucking Newfoundlander telling you that. Yeah, you have no idea. If you've never heard the Newfoundland accent, there's a few different videos on YouTube. You will find most of it sounds Irish, because that tends to be the most prominent group. But there's a lot of very similar to Yorkshire accents here as well. There's even some Scottish adjacent accents if you get out to the west coast. Depends on which group settled which area. The area I'm from, it's mostly English. I did want to check something here, though. What is the political stance of the new Irish Republican Army? The reason I want to check that is because the original IRA were fucking communists. It says official Irish, new Irish. Here we are. We'll pretend to trust Wikipedia for this. Let's see. Their ideology is Irish Republicanism, dissident Republican... Right there. Fuck. Well, it was good while it lasted. It was only a matter of time, though. Governments do not care about those who fund them. No, you are a tax... You're tax cattle for the government. That's all you are for most Western governments now. You can't truly call yourself peace... This is so deeply, absolutely true. You cannot call yourself peaceful unless you're capable of great violence. If you are not capable of great violence, you're not peaceful, you're fucking harmless. Important distinction. Yeah. And as per Jordan Peterson, you have to be a monster before you can be a good man. This is Simon Beam, or possibly Bean. It's hard to read here. UKIP Veterans and Armed Forces spokesperson. Young girls in Britain were preyed on by the same people I was sent off by the government to fight. The liberal establishment has betrayed the British people by allowing our enemies in to rape and pillage our nation. We have been invaded without a single shot being fired. At least by you. I'm sure there's gun crime in the UK. Yeah. I definitely take the Vlad Tepes approach. Good fences make good neighbors. Bad neighbors make great fences. Okay. Staying with the UK. Oops. From Rupert Lowe. Yes, I happen to be a Restore Britain supporter, if not a member. Under a Restore Britain government, the most monstrous Pakistani child rapists would not be deported. With the British people's approval, they would be put to death. In my view, if you rape and torture children, you do not deserve to live. I can say it no better than simply based. It's a yes from me. Good, because that's the kind of treatment they would get in their own countries. Is it? Are you sure? You think some of them didn't come over here already with that habit established? Yeah. Patriot, true. When you want grooming gangs brought to justice, best I can do is jail their critics and ask for the sausages to be released. Mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent. Absolutely true. Dead pedophiles don't reoffend. It's also true. The ultimate deterrent must be restored. Yeah. And this one is also from Rupert Lowe. I expect every MP to attend our rape gang inquiry debate on Monday in Parliament. This is from the 30th of May. Today is Tuesday, so I need to look and see if I can find anything about this inquiry debate. And I'll have that for you guys Thursday. As usual, the plan tomorrow is to try and do the reading. We'll see what kind of state my voice is in. Actually, no. I did actually do the reading last week. Unfortunately, I had so much rust on my friggin' on myself, I didn't turn my microphone on. Yeah, I can feel nothing but shame for that. I do apologize. How many do you think will attend, more or less than before? Well... Yeah, Noah Law, an MP from Cornwall, voted against the National Rape Gang Inquiry. He even left the platform over the increase in far-right hate speech. This man is not interested in helping our horrifically abused British children. I can't imagine why. Take a good look at him and tell me he doesn't have check his hard drive physiognomy. Yeah. A puppet government who don't care about the indigenous women or children of this country. They don't give a single shit about any of the indigenous people of your country. The Welsh, the English, the Cornish. Now I'm hungry because I'm thinking about Cornish pasties. From Undersecretary of State Sarah B. Rogers. In 2021, Canadian media and institutions basically hallucinated the discovery of 215 children's bodies in a mass grave near a former Catholic residential school. The evidence: ground-penetrating radar saw soil disturbances that could have been tree roots. It could have been any number of things, not just tree roots. It is, and I'll grant the possibility, it could be graves. So put a shovel in the ground to find out. Can't do that. Not even with $200+ million or $21 million given to you. But you can put up a fence to prevent access so nobody else can do it either. Yeah. A wave of church arsons ensued, which continues. Excuse me. People making the case for censorship often urge that destructive manias like this can be suppressed or soothed if we prevent people from communicating about them. And here was a perfect case. False information was being recklessly, possibly maliciously, amplified, leading to literal hate crimes. Shouldn't the censors do something? No, because the crimes are being perpetrated against white Christians. They don't care. That's the point. The mass grave craze infected the censorship class, so opposition got targeted instead. At least one supposed disinformation NGO categorized skepticism as hate speech. Yeah, even going, hey, why haven't you put a shovel in the ground and discovered whether or not there actually are bodies there? That's now being characterized as hate speech. Are you fucking kidding? I said over a year ago, if not more than that, that if the government continued down the road of saying, you can't say that you don't believe the Kamloops story. I said, if government continued to attempt to criminalize that as denialism, they were going to create a further problem in that people are going to start asking, well, wait a second, if the Kamloops thing, with all the technology we have to investigate, if it's not being investigated and we're being told to shut the fuck up about it, maybe we should start looking at the Holocaust again. And then people started hearing words like Treblinka. Yeah, you're creating a further problem. Let's see. Yeah, they even saw efforts to criminalize so-called denialism, drawing an absurd comparison to the Holocaust. Is it absurd? I mean, now I'm left questioning the entire narrative of the Holocaust. I'm not denying it. I'm questioning it. And before this happened, I never had a question about whether or not the Holocaust was real. But then I heard about Treblinka because I started to question. Funny thing about information, if you're going to control it, you have to control it totally. Especially if you're telling lies. It's good for the Globe and Mail to come clean. Except they didn't really. Jonathan Kay. Wow, the editorial board of the Globe and Mail just flat out admitted that it screwed up. Screwed up. We made a mistake. No, you didn't. You fucking told a lie and you amplified the son of a bitch. By failing to scrutinize the false 2021 claims that unmarked graves had been confirmed at Kamloops. It's taken 5 years, which is a disgrace. Yeah, there is no reconciliation without truth. Two things can be true at the same time. 5 years after the startling announcement that there were hundreds of, suddenly they're possible, unmarked graves near a residential school in Kamloops, BC, there has been no public confirmation of the discovery of any human remains. That is reality. One reality. But the converse is also true. The fact of the crimes committed against Indigenous children at residential schools over many decades does not automatically validate claims that hundreds of students were dumped into unmarked graves in Kamloops and other residential schools. Hang on. Now you're taking these crimes as a given. Which ones? Are you claiming the abuse was a given? And when you say abuse, are you looking at contemporary discipline then through a lens of you can't even spank a child now? That is an extraordinary assertion, one that requires proof. That should have been the starting point for the media in May 2021 when the Kamloops First Nation first issued a press release announcing the confirmation of the remains of 215 children of the Kamloops Indian Residential School through the use of ground-penetrating radar that identified subterranean anomalies. Actually, I believe at the time they called them disturbances. The media, including the Globe and Mail, did not initially scrutinize, much less challenge that assertion. The initial headlines and stories in the media simply stated as fact that the remains of 215 children had been found. Many of those early stories, including in this newspaper, made reference to mass graves. Okay, well, it just moves on. What the fuck is this bullshit? Why am I even looking at this? Yeah. Okay, that was exciting. We now return. Oh, okay, I see. To your regularly scheduled Globe and Mail bullshit, yeah. Francis Widdowson. If you need a more prominent voice in this situation than the Globe and Mail, Mrs. Widdowson, or Miss Widdowson, I'm not 100% sure. It's a very good choice. The first event that I know of trying to expose the Kamloops 215 deception was on July 10th, 2021. Can we discuss those unmarked graves? Presentations were made by Brian Giesbrecht, Rodney Clifton, and herself. I'm going to copy that link and drop it in chat if you would like to go have a look at it and subscribe potentially to Mrs. Widdowson's or Miss Widdowson's, Professor Widdowson's YouTubes. You can by all means. Renewed calls for Catholic Church apology after mass grave of Indigenous children found in Canada. I don't care about the ratios. No human remains found 2 years after claims of mass graves. Yeah. Yeah, 1 like versus 69,000 or 68,000. 68. I need glasses, I'm aware of it. Okay, I believe this is our last story, and we go back to the UK. And after this, I'm going to take a short break because I have to go use the washroom. From Carl Benjamin, yes, good old Sargon of Akkad himself. We are going to bring back the death penalty, and we are going to hang Digwa, Rutabaga, and any other murderer, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop us. Yeah, and I pointed out that July is White History Month. We're not asking, we're telling. That'll be important later. Sargon is responding to Andrew Weston, an MP for Stretford and Urmston. It would be an opportunity to kill this suggestion dead if nothing else. Go back? Okay, no. Wanted to make sure I didn't have the wrong thing here.
The reintroduction.
So this is Rupert Lowe talking about, I would assume, the reintroduction of the death penalty.
The reintroduction of the death penalty for both foreign and domestic criminals should be put to the British people in a legally binding referendum.
Absolutely.
The reintroduction of the death penalty for both foreign and
The British people agree with me. You're damn right they do. So does at least one Newfoundlander. Okay. Zip down through this. See, the cost of living crisis hasn't hit you yet. Whoa. Dude. From Connor Tomlinson, please make the case why the taxes of broken and grieving families should be spent on food and housing for their son's murderer or daughter's rapist. Rope is much cheaper and guarantees the public will be kept safe from such predators permanently. You do not permit a rabid dog to continue living amongst you. Yeah. Yes, because, yeah, they're trying to stop it because it opens the door for it to return for treason, too. I can see why certain politicians would be worried, yeah. Step away from the trough, Andrew. Enjoy the ratio. How bad is the ratio? Woof. Yeah. How's the ratio of comparing for this particular? Oh, yeah. That's what we like to see. Okay. I'm going to take a short break, so I'll turn off my browser and close this. And unfortunately, I have to give you the interlude graphic briefly as I step out to use the washroom. I do apologize, but it is what it is. Sorry about that, folks. I would have been a little bit quicker, but I did a little bit of improvised wound care. We don't have any really small bandages, so yeah, I just did the best with a little bit of ointment, toilet paper, and medical tape. Yeah, otherwise I'd have used a bandage that was like this wide, and it's just a waste. Okay, we move on to my new favorite segment, Base Japan. Unfortunately, we only have one piece for Base Japan today. So, from Alpha Wolf, in Japan, a Muslim professor rang the sacred bell at a Shinto shrine. He then recited the Islamic azan there, that's the call to prayer, and declared, "There is no God but Allah." He didn't just stop at the Shinto shrine. He repeatedly performed the same actions in front of other shrines, temples, and statues of Buddha as well. He later uploaded the video online. Japan is now debating its desecration laws. Many people are calling it a religious insult. How would it be anything else? It's a declaration of religious war. Jihad. Japan is debating its desecration law after a Muslim professor rang the holy bell at Namiwake Shinto shrine and then recited the Islamic call to prayer, proclaiming there is no God but Allah. Gee, could that have anything to do with allowing too many foreigners into your country? Yeah. Okay, so that's it for Base Japan. Let's move on to the clown show. I mean the comment section. And first up today, we have to talk about... yeah, let's come back to Canada from Japan. And talk about, well, the very, very humorous state of our NDP from Ryan Garrettson. With 4 women on stage, the NDP refused to say the word women or woman during Menstrual Hygiene Day. It really highlights how insane this party is. Well, they're communists. So, delusion kind of goes with the territory.
Here in Canada, 1 in 6 people who menstruate
People who menstruate. You mean women?
cannot afford period products. We are in an affordability crisis, and over the last 5 years, the cost of menstrual hygiene products like pads, tampons, have gone up almost 20%.
Okay. I'm going to stop you for just a second and point out that potentially, if you didn't cater to people who menstruate, but actually catered only to women, then it wouldn't be as much of a problem. I mean, 1 in 6, I'm willing to bet at least some of those are too poor to afford period products because they spent a lot of money on a transition surgery.
And now that's at the same time that we've seen rents skyrocket, grocery prices skyrocket, and for people in rural, indigenous communities, the costs...
I'm going to stop you there. When it comes to people in rural indigenous communities, or rural and indigenous, I think she said.
Skyrocket, and for people in rural, indigenous...
No, just rural indigenous. Okay. When a Canadian politician starts talking about the indigenous people, you know they're just pandering for votes, and anything that comes out of their mouth next is a bullshit lie.
Communities, the costs can be double the national average. So this has consequences for people's lives.
Again, people.
It affects their health, their employment, their personal relationships, because being unable to afford menstrual hygiene products means that people who menstruate. You know, the ones we used to call women. I'm beginning to really, really sympathize with the TERFs. I mean, they're feminists, so there's a degree of conflict there just internalized in me with my misogyny and my internalized misandry and my, I don't know, implicit bias. Didn't have to miss work, important social events. Here in Canada, 1 in 6 people who menstruate
1 in 6 people who menstruate. Well, by all means, let's get some government plugs issued to the people who menstruate. Yeah.
They look really uptight. I have some medicine for them. I don't think you can fix that with penicillin. Menstruators. Jesus Christ. Next up, Earwax Day. Yeah. The Mayor of Grimsby did the same thing. Yep. What the fuck day? Yep. Comedy Gold. Even the Babylon Bee couldn't write shit this weird. Vincent says, I'm so tired of this shit now. When do we go back to being a normal civilization? When does the Clown Act run out? I have no idea. Well, society has to collapse first so that we can rebuild it. Ideally, build it back better. I know what I said. Okay, speaking of collapsing things, from Ryan Garrettson again. Witness the average Canadian at the beginning of this clip. This is how uninformed they are. He was under the belief that the US was doing worse than Canada. Now, why would that be? It's almost like media and politicians...
But the drop in...
Let me pause that. It's almost like media and politicians have presented a false reality to the population. Yeah, you are not immune to propaganda.
But the drop in price coincides with concerning news. Canada is now in a technical recession.
They can't even just say we're in a recession, it's the government's fault. They have to qualify it and say, well, it's technically a recession. Well, is it a recession or not? If it's a technical recession, being technically correct is the best kind of correct. Therefore, a technical recession is the best kind of recession because it's real. Yeah.
While financial experts debate exactly what that means for the economy, the public is simply alarmed by the word.
I did not hear that yet. I'm surprised. I thought we were doing better than the U.S. anyways. I would expect them to be in a recession.
But as most of us know, it is not just the price of gas that is stressing out consumers. It's the cost of other essentials, including mortgage, rent, car repair bills, and yes, groceries. Out shopping with her young son Fergus and her mother Kathy, Rachel Vass agreed the economy is teetering on the edge.
How the fuck would she know? Is she an economist? Well, to be fair, Mark Carney's an economist and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So.
A little uncertain for sure, but I mean, we can only do what we can do, and everything is increasing as the world changes.
Oh, you think the rest of the world is in the shit show that Canada's in? Sorry, sweetheart, we're not. We are our own kind of fucked. Yeah, we're gonna move on past that. Ryan says, no Canadian should be shocked at recession news. Many of us already believed we were in one for a long while. Yeah, well before Carney got in. I feel like it was getting too hard to hide the truth. That's the only reason they are admitting to it. It's simply too hard to hide. Warren C. Wade says, boomers eat up government propaganda. MSM in Canada should be labeled Ministry of Misinformation and Propaganda. I have a maple-flavored Pravda graphic for you, if you'd like. Yeah, but to talk about how stupid some people are, let's... let me pause that video. Let's talk about this one. From Pagliacci the Hated, Slatsism. Amazing comment section. Indians are so pressed about the... I'm not sure what is at loss is, from the Indian guy who was killed by the black bear, that they've dug up a 2018 article about a heroic Inuit man who was mauled by a polar bear to laugh at. They don't know what a polar bear is, and they think Inuit are white for some reason. I'm not kidding. Hope the bear is okay. Hope the bear is fine. Motherfucker white inbred child killed by simple polar bear. What do you think? They all sit around on ice floes drinking Coke? Christmas time? Yeah. White pedos can't even let polar bears alone. W for the bear. Killed another white, useless, illiterate, jobless piece of shit. Yeah. These are the kind of people that we're letting into our countries. Poor polar bear. Hope the bear is okay. Even polar bears know their children aren't safe from whites. Yeah, because white people are the big problem when it comes to children. Canadian pedo must have tried to do something to the child. Yeah, okay, sure. The magical polar bear mysteriously decided to... Fuck off. Here's the actual story. From BBC News. Polar bear killed a Canadian man protecting his children. All the disgusting Jeets in here laughing at this poor man because they think they're dunking on whites, but the guy was Inuit. They don't know the fucking difference. They're so inbred they barely have the IQ of a turd. And they like those.
Yeah. Let's just go to this story, and we'll have a quick look in the comment section down here and see what was said, if we can find a comment section. Look at that, there isn't one. Okay. Moving on. Yes, we can show very clearly that the Indians are not a threat at all whatsoever, anywhere. So, if you and your Canadian buddies posted a video of yourselves firing an SKS into the air with an unpinned magazine, the entire fury of the RCMP would descend upon you. These guys, nothing. And if something did happen, they would get a lenient sentence. Yeah, because you don't want to fuck up their chance at immigrating to this country. Yeah, Jeffrey Rath was a very, very solid follow for the record. How are these bozos, not being arrested for dangerous discharge of a firearm? You spray a bunch of 7.62 bullets into the air at a 45-degree angle, the bullets will be coming down over a mile away. How would these morons know if hikers or other people weren't a mile off from them? They don't care. I've shown enough videos where these idiots will flag the shit out of each other. They don't care. They don't have any value for human life, and they have no understanding of how dangerous a firearm can be. It's a toy to these people. They think they're playing with cap guns that happen to shoot a little pea or something. Blonde Bigot does the right thing and tags the BCRCMP. Canada for Canadians says, stop harassing the bioweapon replacements. Yeah, they are biological warfare. Still a semi-automatic. Magazines are pinned to a capacity of 5 in Canada, so that magazine he's using is prohibited. Yes. Not only that, but we'll actually watch this video real quick to see what he's doing. Let's see here. Improper hold. I will point out the reason he has to grip it and pull it like that with his whole hand is Indian men tend to have a much weaker grip strength than the average European. Just makes you wonder how they manage to hold on to anybody long enough to rape them. Then you realize, oh wait, they gang raped Komodo dragons. Yeah, or sorry, monitor lizards. Yeah. Look at the status symbol this guy's got. Also, anybody else see the SS symbol in this? Fucking racist. Look at that status symbol. Yeah, no, by all means, fire into the sky. Hang on, does he have his thumb over the barrel? He does! Look at that. Yeah. Also, your stock is way too... Well, you don't know what the fuck you're doing anyway. I'm very glad he's not holding an automatic. We've all seen Pakistani wedding videos. What the fuck is that? Is that evidence of impersonating a member of a police organization? Thanks for the very fair pictures of your face. Yeah. Wow. I am so cool, sir. Oh, what's this? This post is from a suspended account. Who's gotten suspended? Oh, okay, that's not helpful. It's in my bookmarks and I can't get rid of it. Oh well. I can't imagine who would have gotten suspended. Hopefully it's not me. Anyway, we'll scroll down through here. Oh no, we already did that. Sorry, my apologies. So, from End Wokeness. Keir Starmer talking about Henry Nowak. Yeah. He talked his last breath next to an officer that was totally not moved by it. Oh wait, he was talking about George Floyd.
Yeah, and the image, I think, will stick with me, and I'm sure it will stick with many, many people. That combination of a man talking about his last breath in that way and an officer apparently unmoved completely by that.
Yeah. This is what he said about George Floyd. You know what he said about Henry Nowak? Not a fucking thing. And I'm hunting now for a different link because
since we're into the story, we'll talk about Henry now. Just in, this from the Mercian. Far-left activist group Stand Up to Racism disrupted a vigil for murdered student Henry Nowak. They proudly boast on social media that they screamed fascist at mourners as they laid flowers and attempted to hold a 3-minute silence in Southampton. The face of pure evil. They are not conscious. They do not possess emotions like a well-adjusted human being. They don't belong in our society. And one day they won't be. Yeah. Neo-Nazis go home. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. The next time you hear allegations of racism or Islamophobia, explain that 18-year-old Henry Nowak, 16-year-old Lucy Lowe, 15-year-old Victoria Golia, and 17-year-old Laura Wilson, and many other teens died because woke ideology kills. Anti-white, not woke. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Let's have a good long look at this image and see what we're looking at here. These are the kind of people who are showing up to protest against a funeral. Boomers, young women, foreigners, young women, boomers, Keir Starmer's illegitimate love child, young women, boomers, lefties. In nature, a bright blue color generally indicates some sort of toxicity, and that the animal should not be consumed. Women against the far right. And gee, where'd you guys get all these posters and everything on the spur of the moment? Yeah. I am absolutely disgusted by the fact that I see some of my people in this crowd. A couple of gingers. Yeah. And Orwell very much had a good point. It was always the women, and above all the young ones, who were the most bigoted adherents of the party, the swallowers of slogans, the amateur spies, and nosers out of unorthodoxy, sorry. Yeah. Since we're on the topic of Henry, we're going to stick to it till the end of the show now. And I do have the body cam footage. I will be showing it. Henry Nowak trial. Vikram Digra has been sentenced to a life sentence, apparently 20 years. There were scuffles in the court after sentencing with police attending. Does that lead to the article? It does not. This is no justice, and I did ask, is there any video? Didn't get a response. You literally cannot hate anti-white Starmer enough. No, you can't. What has Starmer said about the killing of Henry Nowak by a Sikh? Prime Minister Keir Starmer has made no public comment or statement regarding the murder of 18-year-old student Henry Nowak by Vikram Dikwa. What did Starmer say when a few Jew-owned ambulances were set on fire? Prime Minister Keir Starmer strongly condemned the incident, calling it a, quote, horrific anti-Semitic attack and stating that anti-Semitism has no place in our society. He made several official statements and took direct legislative action following the March 2026 arson attack on 4 Hatzola volunteer ambulances in Golders Green. Yeah. The police who assisted in his murder need to be jailed too. The mom, the whole family. The mother has been jailed. Or has been convicted. That one can wait. Body cam footage here as well. Okay, I think I have one piece left for Henry, and then we're done with that. Or done with everything else. Copy that link. Okay, the rest of those bookmarks will wait till tomorrow. Or sorry, yeah, Thursday. Breaking. Body cam footage of the arrest of Henry Nowak, who had been stabbed moments prior by Vikram Dikwa. This is heavily redacted. We're going to skip that. And I did point out, and this will be important when I play the video next, which will be the next thing I do, keep this in mind. One officer, who happens to be female,
We have our issues with female officers, who asks, shouldn't we check him, or words to that effect, is told to go elsewhere and do other work. This is absolutely disgusting. The officers appear far more concerned with catering to the concerns of the ambulatory, uninjured male who claims to be injured around the eye. That's Vikram. The officers clearly do not perform a thorough body check, the sort of thing a basic first aid training course teaches you. They don't even do that. Even though Henry repeatedly says he's been stabbed. One of them even says, I don't think you have. There was allegation that people were laughing at Henry. I didn't hear that, but the clip that I saw, which is connected to this post, is significantly shorter than the clip that I'm going to show. These officers should be facing an investigation for the purpose of determining whether criminal negligence causing death has occurred. The punishment for his killers, and I use the plural because there were multiple individuals at the scene who either gave assistance to Digwa, his own mother having been convicted for doing just that, or who actively lied to the police in an attempt to conceal their fellow's crime, is insufficient. No one, certainly not a young man, deserves to die like this for the crime of doing nothing but being indigenous to their own homeland. July will be White History Month because we've decided it should be. Henry Nowak's name will be spoken. Someone apparently has already replied to this. That might be me, though. Interesting. I'm guessing whoever replied blocked me immediately. Yep. I'm guessing they blocked me or otherwise prevented me from seeing it. That's fine. I don't care. I said what I said. You can go fuck yourself. Okay. Now, before we move on to things that are significantly lighter in tone, we are going to watch this. I'm going to go get some water because this is a little bit hard to watch for me. I'll be right back. Now, before I start this, I want you to bear in mind that what you are witnessing is the last few minutes of a young man's life. Really want something stronger than water. Okay.
My dad's just holding it now. Right. He keeps dropping side to side, so I'm just trying to keep him set up. He's got a mouth full of blood. I don't want him. I can't breathe. He was on the bin on the other side of this gate. He's jumped over these fences and stuff like that. And he's up.
So this person here, this isn't a police officer. This isn't someone rendering first aid. This is someone attempting to keep Henry's head up after he's been stabbed in the femoral artery. It may be that they were genuinely trying to do a good thing, but they're also repeating the lies from the killers that to the police that, oh, he jumped over the fence.
Away, mate. He's obviously he's fallen from there and he slipped from there. His other shoe is left over there, mate.
So wait, he's fallen from there, slipped from there. Are you attempting to say that his injuries are from falling off a fence? Is that the first story the Digwas tried to tell? There's a lot of deception going on here.
What's your name, mate? Huh?
What do you mean, what's your name, mate? The first thing you should do is say, hi, this is Officer such and such, Constable such and such, whatever the fuck. Make clear that you're a cop, dumbass.
Has anyone been hurt other than him? Yeah, me. He's grabbed my brother. He's took my toe.
Oh, yeah, no. Anybody else hurt? No. Don't check the obviously injured individual on the ground. The guy who's not moving, not reacting. Yeah, don't check him. But by all means, the moment a brown guy goes, oh, I'm a little injured and he grabbed my brother. Yeah, immediately flick on the, oh, how can I help you, sir, light.
Grabbing off, started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I got
What?
swollen.
Where? Oh, you got swelling. Oh, you poor little bitch. If I was this cop, I'd be going, get the fuck back out of my face. I'm busy.
A little bruise.
Alright, just step back a little bit for me. Someone flagged the...
Step back a little bit for me. Jeez, could you be any more assertive, sir?
down.
Got this stabbed.
Right, let's get you out of there, shall we?
Oh, yeah. I've been stabbed. Oh, well, let's just drag you.
I was in bed, asleep. Whenever just find me up there.
He's saying, I've been stabbed.
I can't breathe.
Grab his other arm.
Help. So I've just come running through any little on St. Denny's Road. I've come running around the corner.
What's happened to you, alright?
Alright, mate. Stabbed.
You can't help but hear, I've been stabbed. Over and over.
You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? I don't think you have, mate.
I don't think you have.
That's what, and then you've got nothing. I want to keep you up.
This should not be the last image of this young man's life. This is bullshit.
Hand.
I can't breathe.
Put the hand
I can't breathe.
in the cuff, mate. Yeah.
Now, I'll grant, to be fair, when you hear someone say, I can't breathe, it's fairly obvious they are in fact breathing. However, Henry had been stabbed in the lung, which means his lung was filling up with blood, which, yeah, will make it harder to breathe.
This is like the times this has happened to us. You've been walking, you parked literally.
Now, there's a female officer here who will say something along the lines of, shouldn't we check him to see if he's been stabbed or whatever, who's basically saying, hey, shouldn't we follow our fucking training? But the male officer responds with, nah, you just go over there and deal with them. Go deal with the Browns. I'll take care of this evil white man.
90 foot.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Let's back that up.
Racist.
90 foot.
Racist. Nothing happened. Hey, where's his mother? The entire family's out the door watching. Where's his mother? You know where his mother is? His mother is inside trying to hide a fucking murder weapon.
He's saying he's been stabbed, so
Where
let's
is it
just
you
check
think
him.
you've been stabbed? In the face?
Now, I don't know if you caught that or not. The police officers are talking about, he says he's been stabbed. Someone in the crowd says, no, he hasn't.
Oh no, but we have to...
Oh. We'll hear it again here.
In the face? Oh no, but we have to check,
We have to check.
don't we?
Right.
In the face?
Just get these to back off, get their details on that. Alright.
So whoever this officer is that's speaking, whoever's body cam this officer is responsible, at least in part, for Henry's death, because he refused to allow his female colleague to check to see if Henry had actually, in fact, been stabbed.
I'll keep hold of him.
The people that we are supposed to trust and rely on to defend us, to protect us, are falling down. How would you ever be surprised that the new Irish Republican Army are saying they're going to go out in the street and commit vigilante justice? How would you ever be shocked by such an event?
Keep you on your side, mate. You better retrieve then. Saying to him, keeping him on his side.
Yeah, keep him on his side, because
He
he's
was
only
sad
been
with
stabbed.
me, but he didn't like it. What's your name, mate? At the moment, you are under arrest. That's for assault, so you do not have to say anything, may harm in defence. If you do not mention one question, so we'll talk to you later line of court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence, alright?
Without conducting any sort of investigation, without questioning any of the witnesses, they are automatically putting him under arrest for assault based just on the word of someone they should know fucking well carries a knife
and the other person is saying, I've been stabbed. Yeah. Isn't it interesting how, there's no two-tier justice system in Keir Starmer's Britain, but there sure as hell seems to be an anti-white bias.
He's going to be sick, I think.
He's going to be sick. No, son, he's not going to be sick. He's going to be dead.
What's his name?
I just want you to call it.
Watch.
Yeah, we've got this male. He's been beat up. Are we able to get an ambulance, please? His pupils.
He's been beat up. He claims he's been stabbed, but he's been beat up, and we didn't bother to check to see if there was any bleeding. Why do you think they put the blue gloves on?
Not even reacting.
Yeah, his pupils aren't reacting.
Yeah.
The unbelievable callousness of that male officer is disgusting. He assumes Henry has not been stabbed. He immediately shows far more concern for the foreigners who claim that they have experienced a racism. He automatically arrested Henry for assault based only on the word of those same foreigners. And then on top of that, after being told repeatedly, I've been stabbed, I can't breathe, does nothing. Does not perform a simple field body check to see if his gloves come back bloody. Drags Henry around. Throws him in handcuffs. Oh, I'm keeping him up at his side. You don't know if he hasn't been stabbed. By keeping somebody on their side, you are increasing blood flow to a potential wound. Especially if he was hit in the femoral artery, which is reported elsewhere, but doesn't look to be visible here. This is sickening. Unbelievably sickening and infuriating. There's a reason today's cover is this image. And it's also the reason that July must be White History Month. Because we need to say the names of people like Henry Novak, like Irina Zarutska, like Austin Metcalf. There are so many that it gets confused in my head. So many victims of anti-white violence. It's absolutely disgusting. But we're not supposed to look back in anger. We don't have to look back at all. We can look right now. And we can see. Now, I hate to leave on this dark a moment, so I'm going to play a couple of funny things. Because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to live with myself. So we have a YouTube clip to show. This shows the
grass is getting
unbelievable speed of a $70 million maglev train in Japan. You'll hear him say something. The person with the camera, I believe, says something about the grass is getting closer. That's possibly an AI auto translation piece, but not so much. And I love the fact that all these reporters are standing there with their cameras and they're like, oh, we'll get great shots as the maglev train goes by, and then this happens.
The grass is getting closer. I can see it now.
Yeah.
The grass is getting closer.
Again,
I can see it now.
This guy, he's like, wow. First thing in his head is, whoa. And then it's, wait, I came out here to do a job. They spent a lot of money sending me here. We spent a lot of time setting up, and that's the footage we've got? That's why he's doing this reaction. Yeah. Now, something I discovered just before showtime, because I occasionally do sit down and have coffee with my mother. She was watching The Price is Right, and this happened. I shit you not, this is real. I recorded it myself with my phone. And I think this is an absolute perfect example of the state that our society is in. Remember, The Price is Right is a game show. It's essentially a lottery on TV. Yes, it's a brand new chicken coop. I'm not fucking kidding. That was the prize on The Price is Right for one of the preliminary contest guessing game. A fucking chicken coop. How bad are people realizing the price of things are getting that they would actually go out of their way to put a chicken coop as a prize on The Price is Right? You cannot make this shit up. Yeah. Now, that's going to be the end of the show today. If you would like to support what I do, if you see value in what I do, please do go over and fling a few bucks to me on Ko-Fi. If you do so on a monthly basis, I'll put your name in the ticker alongside Zenrab7 and Simon JJ. If you don't have the money or don't wish to spend it, and I completely understand, I am also the poor, you can like, share, chat, comment. I deeply appreciate chat. Speaking of which, I want to say thank you very much to Hex1 for popping in today. Deeply appreciated. Any support I get is support, so I'm going to be appreciative. But you can like, share, chat, comment, follow, or subscribe, depending on platform. If you follow on Rumble, if you follow on Rumble, it's the same as subscribing on YouTube, costs you nothing. If you considered subscribing on Rumble, maybe consider a monthly, repeated support on Ko-Fi, because the cut from Rumble is extremely significant. I understand Rumble is attempting to compete with YouTube, but I'm a small content creator. If I had 10,000 followers who were sending me $1,000 a month, I don't think I'd necessarily care. But I have 77 followers who send me significantly less than $1,000 a month. That money, of course, I do put into a savings account that will gain interest, and it will be used to improve what I'm doing. The big goal is to pick up a new PC, an actual PC, something I can upgrade, because laptops simply aren't cutting it. And potentially funding a better internet connection at some point. Possibly Starlink, possibly something else. Speaking of which, I'm still having problems with my internet. Let's see. So, I will point out that we are in fact pushing the hashtag July is White History Month with the subtext, if you would like to use it, of we're not asking, we're telling. We are not asking for permission to celebrate our history and our heritage. We don't need permission. We live in white countries that should have white patriotism and white... I can't use that other P word because, well, it is what it is, but you should be proud to be who you are and to have the history and heritage that you do. So, if you would like to share that hashtag, I would deeply appreciate it. You can find it pinned on my X account. If you would like to talk to me, you can find me on Gab, GETTR, X, Substack, here on Rumble, over on YouTube at my community posts. Yeah. So, now, to be fair, I don't use Substack very often for anything more than pushing out links, but occasionally I have, a thought that fits in an article, or in most cases, a fairly long post. Okay, other than that, folks, this Henry Nowak thing is oof. Yeah. Okay, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.